So welcome everybody, including those who are on Rev Stevens' class and are joining my class, which is lovely. I want to welcome each and every one of you. Estelle, is
Thank
that Deb? Debbie? Deb? Deborah?
Yes,
What's your name? How do you prefer to be called?
Deborah.
Deborah. So Deborah, I'm Rabbanit Bracha and I'm teaching the next class. Reb Steven usually teaches on Thursdays, correct?
Yes.
So I teach on Wednesdays at 11 o'clock, and I welcome you to the class. That's lovely. Hello, Judy. Hello, Bev. Hello, Ellen. Hello,
uh,
Helen. And Robert. It's lovely to see everybody. For those who wish to join the class, I'm delighted.
I
We,
always wish to. It's just that I always have therapy on Wednesday, and I'm so sorry to miss it, but I'm glad I'm here now.
well, there you
So,
go, because you don't have
yeah,
therapy now. So you're going to do
right.
spiritual therapy instead
Yes,
of physical therapy. That sounds
yes,
great.
ma'am. What page?
Okay, so
What psalm is it?
one second, slow down, slow down, slow down. We've been learning Tehillim, which is known as
Yes, amen.
Psalms in English. And the last few weeks, what we decided to do in order to round off the end of our year of learning is to learn the Psalms of the day. Are people familiar with the fact that every day of the week there's a different psalm?
Yes,
Anybody here familiar? Anybody here daven, pray sometimes? Yes, no? Okay, Helen, I get a yes. Judy, I get a yes. Anybody else?
yes.
Yeah, okay, Bev, good, good. So you know that different days of the week have a different psalm Psalm, associated with it. These are the psalms that were recited in the temple courtyard. People remember that the Levites, they would sing, they would play musical instruments. And psalms are actually poems, kind of odes of joy or beseechment to God. So we have already learned many psalms, including the more common ones. And then we've made our way through Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Today we're on Fridays. The Psalm for Friday is Psalm 93. 93. So anybody who either has a prayer book, you with me, Deborah?
For Shabbos.
For Shabbos will be next time.
So this is not for Erev Shabbos.
Very good, actually. Excellent. So it's Erev Shabbat refers to Friday and it refers to Friday night. And actually, we say this psalm both on Friday as well as Friday night in our davening. So very good, Deborah. You actually hit upon one of the points I was going to bring up. Why is it that this psalm is appropriate both for Friday as well as for Friday night? So
And
first of yeah,
and Shabbat also in the Shabbat davening.
on
More
Shabbat morning,
right, uh-huh. Yes.
maybe part of Psuke de Zimra.
Yes, right. Yes.
Oh, okay. You know what? I wasn't even thinking of that. Thank you, Judy. So you do know the psalm. You asked for the psalm, but you knew which one it was.
I didn't know the number.
Ah, nachon. Yes, we don't remember the number,
You
but you can
just
look it up in in a prayer book, in a
Right.
siddur. You don't actually have to look it up in a Bible. So anybody who has a Tanakh, a Bible, you just look up Tehillim, Psalms, and you'll find Psalm. They go from 1 to 150, and we're on Psalm 93.
93.
Uh-huh. 93. Sadi
Got
Gimel.
it. Got it. Got it.
Perfect. Yeah, it's convenient because it's listed by number. So it's very convenient to find. Comes after 92 and before 94. All right, that was a joke. And those who have a prayer book, a siddur, you can simply turn to the page. Ellen, we only see the top half of your head.
I
Maybe you can
know.
adjust it. Oh, you can't
Strange.
adjust it?
Yes. No,
No. Oh, no way to
I'm on
adjust it.
my iPad and it's a strange desk,
Set up? Okay.
everything.
I understand because you're in a different place. Okay,
Yeah,
got it. Oh, now we see you a little better.
a
Okay.
little better.
Ellen, are you able to pull up a Siddur or online, maybe 93? Oh, on your phone. Perfect. So you have it on your phone. Great. So
Yeah.
people who have more than one device can call it up on their phone. I am actually going to read today. I'm going to read the Psalm, and I have this beautiful book. I know I've shown you many different books on Psalms. This one is by Reb Adin Steinsaltz. People have heard of him?
I put it on
Yes.
top of
Of
this.
course.
Yep, he died not that long
All
ago.
right,
He
so
was a
I'll see you later. Okay,
contemporary.
have
He
fun.
died.
Rev Steinsaltz died a number of years ago, but he's a contemporary of ours. He put together, I believe it might have
Yep.
been the first Aramaic and English translation of the Gemara, of the Talmud, made it very, very accessible for people, which wasn't so accessible for people who don't know Hebrew and Aramaic. So he's well known for that. But it turns out that Rav Steinsaltz was extremely prolific, and he wrote many different books and many different commentaries. One of them, he wrote a whole book on Tehillim. It's a nice, small book, and it has short commentaries. So I'm going to give you a preface. He says like this hymn, so I guess hymn and psalm are the same thing. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes. Mhm.
Is it always a psalm? Is a hymn always a psalm? It's just a
No.
different way of, no. A hymn could be also not psalms.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Estelle. That's helpful. This is a hymn or a psalm about God's revelation in the world, in the wake of which all existence will be filled with song, and all people will witness God's rule of the world and God's presence within God's sanctuary. So I'm going to sing it for you in Hebrew, and then I'm going to read it to you. He has a beautiful translation. I have a few translations. You may know this tune. Adonai malach geyut lavesh lavesh Adonai oz hitazar aftikon tevel bal timot nachon kisacha meyaz מעולם אתה נשאו נהרות אדוני נשאו נהרות כולם יישאו נהרות דוח ים מקולות מים רבים אדירים משברי ים אדיר במרום אדוני עדותיך נאמנו מאוד לביתך נא בקודש אדוני לאורך ימים. Sing with me if you want. Ay dai 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 ay dai 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 ay dai dai ya dai dai da 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 da. So it's really the tune for Leman Achai V'Reyai, for all my brothers and friends, for all my sisters and friends, as Rabbi Weiss likes to sing it. So that tune was adapted because it's such a beautiful, grand tune, and it also fits the words. So I'm now going to read it to you in English. You may have a slightly different translation. The Lord reigns. God is clothed in grandeur. The Lord is clothed and has girded God's self with strength. The world is firmly established, not to be shaken. Your throne stands firm of old. You are from eternity. The rivers raise, Lord. The rivers raise their voices. The rivers boost their towering waves. It is from the sounds of many waters, the mighty breakers of the sea. The Lord is mighty on high. Your testimony or your precepts are completely true. Holiness adorns your house. The Lord is for all length of days. So before we go into any commentaries, I would love to hear people's thoughts. Yeah, Ellen.
Just one idea, and that is that the translation from Sepharia, instead of rivers, is the ocean sounds.
That's
and
so,
the pounding and the thunder, and I kind of like that better than the river.
I get that. Let me just look at the Hebrew. A nahar is a river. That is true. But I think what Sepharia is doing is saying, even though, like, there was no word for ocean in ancient Hebrew. Do you know what the word for ocean is in modern Hebrew? Anybody know?
Yum.
Yam is sea. Yam Tichon is Mediterranean Sea. So you're getting bigger from nahar, from a river, to a yam, which is a sea.
Okay.
Okeanos. It actually took the English word ocean and turned it into a Hebrew word, okeanos. So there was no word for ocean in ancient Hebrew, which is what David was writing in. Actually, we learned that Moshe I think Moshe is the one who wrote this, but I'm going to look that up in a minute. I don't think this one David wrote, but he might have. So let's wait for a minute. So
But
what
they really didn't see large bodies of water.
They didn't, and how would they know, right? They didn't go far enough. So I think you're right that the nahar, I mean, I guess he could have used the word yam which means sea. But I believe oceans. What difference does it make if you translate it into river or ocean?
It seems grander as an ocean.
It
Ah,
seems grander. Exactly. It's a much larger body of water. So
And
by
when it gets,
translating it into ocean, you're also adding a commentary and you're allowing it to be greater than the actual, like Rav Steinsaltz was true to the translation. But I think what Svaria is doing is giving it a twist and saying, well, obviously this meant the largest bodies of water that we have, which is the oceans. Okay, beautiful. Yeah,
sound,
Ellen.
the sounds that it uses, it talks about thunder and pounding, and that's
Pounding.
something you get from an ocean. You
You're
don't
right. You
get
don't get it
that.
from a river. Beautiful. So can you read that translation with the
Hmm.
pounding? Because I don't think I had that. Oh, the
The
mighty
ocean,
breakers of the sea. You're right. But go on. Yeah.
the ocean sounds, O Eternal One. The ocean sounds its thunder. The ocean sounds its pounding
Beautiful.
above the thunder of the mighty waters.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So, yes, in verse 4, for example, it does use the word mayim rabim, many waters or great waters. Adirim. Adir is amazing, majestic, and mighty. Mishperei yam are breakers of the sea. So he does use the word yam, which is bigger than nahar.
That
Nahar
they have
is a river.
those are the one. That's the way it translates in
Beautiful.
Safaria
Uh
before,
huh.
but
Yep.
it was three where the sounds are different and the men.
Beautiful. I think that's a beautiful translation, so I appreciate that. Anybody else have any thoughts about this before we move on? What do you feel when you hear the translation or when you heard the Hebrew? Any thoughts?
Well, there's one thing that he says, the floods. He uses the floods. The
Which,
floods have lifted up, have lifted up. It's hard for me to see. It's one of these small books.
yeah.
Um, the floods have lifted up their voices,
Mm-hmm.
but the floods by their roaring above the voices of many waters, and
Many
that's
waters. Yes,
yeah.
yes. So it's interesting. So flood sounds like catastrophe, doesn't it? What
Yeah.
translation are you using, Estelle?
um this comes from the year one. Uh,
The year one?
well,
I don't even know what that means. Do you mean one like a creation of the world?
no, I meant from it's the Society of America. um this is from, wait a minute.
oh, God.
It's hard. God, this is 1917.
Oh, wow. Over a
Yeah.
hundred years ago. Wow.
As
Beautiful.
I'm saying, from the year one.
The year one. I didn't know what you meant by that as a joke. I got it. So
Yeah.
1917 is over a hundred years ago. That's so
Yeah.
interesting that
But
they use
then,
it as flood.
yeah, but then he says, let's see, where did I go? Oh, yeah, then the floods, then it says, above the voices of many waters, the mighty breakers of the sea.
Yeah, exactly. Because the
Yeah.
word yam is used. So yam means sea, like Yam HaTichon. Have people heard of the Mediterranean Sea
Yes, of
here in
course.
Israel? So Yam HaTichon. Tichon is the middle or the median, which is like Mediterranean. That's the idea. Yam means sea. So when it gets to the word yam, it translates it as sea. But he decided, whoever translated in your translation, decided that nahar, instead of being river, would be grand flooding or grand washing of water. So I think that's why. I don't know if I would use the word flooding, but it just shows how every time you translate is always a kind of commentary because you have to decide how you're going to translate the word. Are you going to use the modern English, the modern Hebrew word? Are you going to use what you feel is its meaning? Does everybody understand that when I say that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
terrific.
This says a new translation.
Well, it was new in 1917.
I
Where was it? Where was it published in America?
uh, uh, it's the Jewish blah blah blah. The it's the Jewish I, the the Jewish publication Jewish
Society,
Publication
JPS.
Society.
Yep.
Yeah,
So that's in
yeah,
America, I think.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Beautiful. Okay, 1917, before the state of Israel was formed.
Yes, we know that.
Yep.
I
Okay. Um, Rabba Dalia Marks, who I have quoted at different times, she's a wonderful Israeli reform rabbi who is extremely knowledgeable about Midrash and Gemara. She says like this. She says, this is not about, oh, hi, Robert. Welcome. Helen, did I say hello to you? I don't think I said hello.
You
Hi,
did.
Helen. I did? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
great.
Thank you.
So, yeah, welcome. So she says this is not just, she speaks in Hebrew, so I translate into English, but she says this is not about rivers or seas or oceans that we see nowadays. She said this grand description is actually about the primordial sea from Bereshit, from Genesis, when God created heavens and earth. That's how, and she says, the grandeur of it is to conjure up for us God as the one who created the world. That's how she sees it. Maybe it's a midrashic translation. And I just want to remind people, where's the word in here? What is the second word? Oh, by the way, sorry, let me parenthetically. Do you remember how we discussed that the 7 Psalms may have a structural decision of why they were chosen to be the Psalm for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday? So we said in the Psalm for Sunday, God's name was in the first word, and the Psalm for Monday, God's name was in the second word. And in the, do you remember, people remember that, those who have been on the class? Okay, let's see if we can find God's word, God's name in the 6th word. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we count the words in Hebrew, Hashem, Malach, Geut, Lavesh, Hashem, the 6th word is God's name. So this is again following that idea, which is a structural idea, even though she says she doesn't think that's why they picked it. But how beautiful that it has this idea flowing through it, that every day of the week, God's name appears in the first word, the second word, the third, fourth, fifth, and today in the 6th. So we see that it holds water, no pun intended, for today as well, even though it's talking about water. Today meaning studying the Psalm for Friday. Okay, the second word in this Psalm, for those who read Hebrew, is
Malach.
malach. What is malach?
Reigned.
And
What-
Reigned or ruled. People here know the word melech.
Yeah.
Melech is a king, like Melech David, King David, Melech. So to be, so Hashem Malach, God reigned or reigns. Actually, it's in the present. What would be the connection for Rabba Dalia Marks, between creation and God reigning in the world? Reigning, not reigning, R-A-I-N, but reigning, R-E-I-G-N. What's the connection?
That I think that is that God is creating all the time.
Oh, that's beautiful. She adds that as well. That's really, really beautiful. So it's both that God created, God is king of the world,
And
capital,
continually.
and beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Fantastic read. I love that. Okay, because it's in the present. So you're saying it's about God. So maybe that means that God's energy or attention is on the world, even though God created the world at the beginning. Without God's infusion of God's energy, let's call it energy right now, or reigning, R-E-I-G-N, then it's as if the world would disappear. So it reminds us that God is part of our present day world as well. Beautiful. Okay. I'm going to, anybody else have something they want to say? I want to shift to another thought. Okay. Who here has been to shul on Friday nights? 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, 6 people. Estelle, have you ever been?
Friday.
Not Friday night? Once you were on Friday night? Well, actually, during COVID, you probably came on Zoom when Rebelli was doing it with, right?
Right.
So how about you, Estelle? Did you get on Zoom then during COVID?
Well, not to synagogue, no.
No, not to Friday afternoons.
I'm afraid not.
Oh, you didn't come on. Okay. Well, if you had come on, you would have heard a beautiful, beautiful musical rendition by Ellie Kranzler, our Chazan. This is before Shabbat starts, right? Because we don't use
Instruments.
instruments or electricity. Actually, we don't use electronic equipment on Shabbat.
We
So
had a
obviously,
discussion about that.
yeah. So before Shabbat actually started, during COVID, when we were not allowed to gather in shuls, remember that happened? Eli Kranzler and his wife Adina put on a gorgeous Kabbalat Shabbat. Kabbalat Shabbat means receiving Shabbat, and sang their way through the Kabbalat Shabbat. So everybody, most people, except for Estelle, who wasn't on it, people know that either from being in person Friday night, that there's beautiful singing, or if you came on the Zoom. Everybody with me?
Yes.
Yes, got mostly, except for Estelle. Now Estelle, see, now I'm intriguing you to come to shul Friday night because it's such beautiful singing. You would love it. It's gorgeous. Anyway, I want to go through with you. I'm just getting a siddur. Luckily, I'm in a shul. There are siddurim here. I'll be right back.
Um,
Debbie,
Yeah.
are you okay?
Yes.
Because you're holding your head up.
Oh,
I hold my head up all the time.
it's
Okay.
heavy.
Okay. If you're okay, you can hold your head up.
Okay.
It helps to stay up if you hold it. Right. So you're 3A and B.
Right.
Okay. 370601. Hudson Manor Terrace.
you moved, Debbie? I'm sorry, I was away from.
Wait, just a minute.
Oh, it's 3671.
I'm going to write it down because short memory.
All right, guys. I went to get my tea also. Sorry, so it took me another minute.
Well, there's a concert on Tuesday night at HIR, to which I will go.
Amazing. You should come. That's great.
I'm coming.
Amazing. I look forward to seeing you there. Okay.
Good.
I'm now opening the Siddur, the prayer book, to Kabbalat Shabbat, receiving the Shabbat. Who knows, by the way, where Kabbalat Shabbat comes from? Who knows who started it? Anybody know here? This is before the evening service of Mariv. There are special psalms that we sing. Like, listen to me for a moment, for those who have either been to shul or heard it. Lechu neranena l'Adonai nariya letzur yishenu. Does that sound familiar?
One.
Right? And when we sing, for example, Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash Shiru Ladonai Kol Haaretz, right? That all sounds familiar? And then there's more like that. So these sound familiar for those who have been to shul or been on the Zoom. Well, all of that accepted. Hello, Edith. Welcome. We have Mizmor Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash Ki Niflaot Asa Hoshia Lo Yemino Uzro HaKodesho. So these are all Psalms. Now, if anybody has a prayer book, a Siddur, it doesn't matter what Siddur you have, if you look up Kabbalat Shabbat, you'll see that it is Psalm 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, and then 29. Six Psalms are sung Kabbalat Shabbat. Oh, I asked people if you knew where it came from. Anybody know why it was added before the evening prayer Friday night? Who did it?
Wasn't the Kabbalats and Sifat?
The Kabbalists, Mekubalim. The Kabbalists in the 16th century in Tzfat, very good, Helen. Tzfat is Safed, I think, in English. So Tzfat is this mystical, beautiful city in the north of Israel. It really is mystical if you ever get to Israel. It's a beautiful city to visit. And the Kabbalists actually instituted it. What does Kabbalat Shabbat? Means receiving the Shabbat. And you may know that Shabbat HaMalkah, the Sabbath queen, is how we think of Shabbat. And we say that the Sabbath queen is kind of a bride for the Jews, I guess, or for God. So it's as if we receive the Sabbath queen. So when you receive royalty, you do it with song. And they said in order to get into the mood for receiving the queen, we need to add these psalms. And then in many places, there's also singing added to it. Okay, everybody with me on this? So how many psalms? Yeah, did you want to ask something, Deborah?
Yeah.
Sure. What'd you want to ask?
Oh, I have to. Hello.
Oh, no, she has a phone call. Okay. I'll put you on mute so you can do the phone call. Okay. If you want to go off mute afterwards, you're welcome to. So there are 6 psalms that are said, and then Lecha Dodi, people sing, Lecha Dodi. I mean, there's many, 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 many tunes. People have heard of Lecha Dodi.
The Kabbalists so developed the
Even
Chadod.
I've heard of it.
I don't know who developed it. I think it's the Kabbalists. That's a very good question. I assume so. I'd have to look that up, but that makes sense that they added it. Let me just see. Lecha Dodi.
It says that
This song. Sorry, yeah.
because the Chadod was composed by the 16th century Kabbalist Rabbi Shlomo Halevi Alkabetz.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm reading that from the Koren Siddur. It is a work of surpassing beauty, speaking in turn of Shabbat, Jerusalem, the Jewish people, and the Messiah, and then goes back to Shabbat. And the first 8 verses form an acrostic spelling out the name Shlomo Halevi. Beautiful, in Hebrew, which is shorter. Shlomo Halevi is 8 letters. Deborah, did you want to speak? I'm not sure, but you're muted, so you'll have to unmute if you want to speak. I don't know if you can unmute, but you're welcome to. If you unmute, we'd be happy to hear from you. Okay, so 6 psalms, and then Lecha Dodi, and then the psalm we say for Shabbat, Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat, a psalm for the song of the Sabbath day. So what would that remind you of? 6 psalms, and put Lecha Dodi on the side, and then a psalm for Shabbat. What does that remind you of?
6 days of the week and then Shabbat.
Exactly, 6 days of the week and then Shabbat. That makes sense for Kabbalat Shabbat. Let's do 6 songs. By the way, all the psalms for Friday night are all about royalty. They're all about crowning God as king, which feels really beautiful as we go into Shabbat. God is the one who created the world in 6 days and then rested on Shabbat. Okay, so if we have the 6, everybody with me? 6 psalms for the 6 weekdays, then we have Lecha Dodi, then we have a psalm for Shabbat. Why after that one would we add 93? Does that make sense? It feels a little extraneous. Why should we add after Mizmor Shir, Mizmor Shir, Shir Leyom HaShabbat, Mizmor Shir, Shir Leyom HaShabbat. We'll speak more about that next time when we learn about this particular one. So do you understand the question? Everybody get the question? We have 6 which correspond to weekdays. Then we have Shabbat. Why add another one? So Rabbi Dalia Marx offers 3 answers, which I want to share with you. The first one is midrashic. There is a teaching in Judaism for Deborah's aid. If you want to put Deborah off mute so she can speak, that would be great. Deborah, did you want to add something?
Not now.
Not now. Okay, because before you had a phone call, that's why I put you on mute. But if you would like to add at any point, we would love to hear your voice. Okay, so she says the first one is midrashic, that we consider the 7 days to be representative of nature, of the natural world. And the 8 days supersedes that and adds spirituality. Who can give me an example of where 8 appears in our tradition, which might represent spirituality, mysticism, and something in addition to the biological world?
The Brit.
The Brit Milah. We have 7 days that the baby boy just lives. And then on the 8th day, assuming all is well, there's a connection with God I understand it's physical because you perform a circumcision. I get that. But it creates a connection between the boy and God, and it receives the boy into the Jewish people. That's one example. Any other examples for 8?
Shmini Atzeret.
Holidays?
Holiday, yes. Shmini Atzeret. There's 7 days of Sukkot. This is in Israel. Outside of Israel, we add an extra day, but let's leave it for Israel, which is the biblical holiday. 7 days of Sukkot. That's the natural order when God put us in booths and protected us in the desert. And then on the 8th day, Shmini Atzeret, is one extra day that we stay. No special mitzvah associated with it, except for joy. Who raised their hand?
I did.
You did? Oh, hi, Edith.
Hi.
How did I raise my hand? That's weird. Okay, Edith, did you want to say something?
No, I raised it before when I said holidays.
When you said, oh, holidays. Oh, I heard you. Yes, yes. Okay, good, good. So 8th day Shmini Atzeret is simply an extra day just to connect with God. And that would be a way of representing the spiritual world in addition to the regular world. So we'd have 6 psalms about royalty. Then we have Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat, a psalm for Shabbat. And then we have an extra psalm, which elevates it. And if you think about it, this is a wonderful psalm to elevate it because it talks about grandeur. It talks about God as the creator, crowning God as king. It's very grand. I think that's the best word. Somebody used that word here. It's majestic and it's grand and it's short. Doesn't add so much to the tefillah, to the prayer. So that was the midrashic explanation. A second explanation is structural, which is if you look at the 6 psalms that we say represent maybe the weekday, they're all about royalty. They're all about crowning God as king. If you look through them, you'll see that from Psalm 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, and then 29, they all talk about royalty. But then when we go to Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat, there's nothing about royalty there. So perhaps they added Psalm 93 to Psalm 92 in order to finish off and bookend this whole grand psalm recitation with royalty. Make sense to people?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. And a last one is historical. It turns out that even before the Kabbalists added the 6 Psalms and the Hadodi, in Israel, Psalm 92 and Psalm 93 were always recited. So when the Kabbalists added the 6 and then the Hadodi, they weren't going to take away 93. They just kept it as it was. That's historical. Okay? Which I found that very satisfying, that she brought up the question and then she gave 3 different answers, all of which made a lot of sense to me. And I feel like now, and which is why I really appreciate preparing a class, because then when I get to Friday night davening this week, I'll have a much better feel and I'll be able to connect better with the Psalms, which is really beautiful, with the Kabbalat Shabbat. It feels like it elevated their spirituality for me.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
It sounds but the different melodies, where did they come from? I know David made some, but
the
where
melodies, I don't know if we have any melodies from David.
Well,
he may have sung them, but we don't know them.
So then where did our melodies come from?
That's a great question. I think some of them were old, ancient melodies that were handed down, not necessarily from King David. Maybe, I don't know. Some of them were simply handed down over generations. There are different Hasidic groups that are known for their beautiful singing, like Muzhitz and others, Babaver, I think. And so some of them are just tunes, and then some of them are more modern tunes. Like, as a child growing up, I knew this song, Leman achai v're'ai, for all of my brothers and friends, for all of my sisters and friends. And that's maybe a Carlebach tune, might be.
Yeah.
And somebody just thought of adapting it to this particular psalm because it has a majesty to it. It has a crescendo. But in the Bait, we also sing it to a different tune. For those who have come here, we just say the first part, and then towards the end, we sing this. Mikolot ma'im rabim אדירים משברי ים, אדיר במרום, אדוני, עדותיך נאמנו מאוד לביתך נא בקודש Adonai liorech yamim. So that is a song written
That's
by Rabbi.
lovely.
I know,
Absolutely
isn't it? I
lovely.
love that tune. It's written by Rabbi Shefa Gold. I don't
Ah,
think she was an Orthodox or is an Orthodox rabbi. She wrote that to Ozi v'zimrat Yah by Hillel Yeshua. Ozi v'zimrat, that God is my song and my strength, and my salvation. So she put the words to Ozi v'zimrat Yah v'yehi li Lishua. So she did that tune, and then somebody adapted it, maybe Ellie, for Mikolot. Mikolot Mayim Rabim. Okay, so those are some of the tunes that are used. Got that? And then some are just more modern or yeki tunes that are put to different parts. Or somebody just came up with tunes and then it caught on.
oh,
All right.
so yeah. Wow.
Now, if somebody would read, please, the last verse in English. Estelle, do you want to read the last verse, verse 5 in English? If
You need
can.
of 93?
Yeah.
I'm having trouble reading these days.
Oh, so somebody else can. Helen, do you want to read it?
Yeah, sure.
My destination.
Your
Go ahead.
prophets reveal words of great faith about the temple, your holy dwelling. God, may it stand for all time.
So if you think about it, what is
That's
this?
not my last. That's not, you said the last verse?
No, Estelle, everybody
Yeah.
has a different translation.
Oh,
Everybody has a different translation in English. The Hebrew is the same, but the English changes from translation to translation. So Helen read her translation of it. I also have a different one. I have a slightly different one. Mine is, your precepts are completely true. Holiness adorns your house. The Lord is for all length of days. That's also different. Anybody else have another one?
mine is thy testimonies. Thy testimonies are very sure. Holiness becometh the house, O Lord, forevermore.
Right, but isn't that similar? Forevermore and for all length of days. Isn't that very similar?
Yes.
Yes, so but everybody translates slightly differently.
Oh my
Everybody.
goodness.
Yeah, every translation is going to be slightly different from each other, depending on what your background is and if it's written in 1917 or in 1970 or in 2025 or 2026. You're going to translate it a little bit differently. So that makes sense. But it's not so different in its meaning. Your precepts, your testimonies, your prophets feel a little different. That feels a little strange, Helen. Why does it say your prophets? Because it's Eidotecha. So that I don't know.
I don't know. It's this one, the one Karen recommended.
Oh, that one. I have that. Right. If I read that, it would be even different. Okay. But we get the idea. Do we get the idea about God being always and forever and that God's precepts stand forevermore? Everybody get that? Does that, so how is that connected to the rest of the psalm? Any thoughts?
Well, I mean, if you go to a beach, and when I go to a beach,
Yeah.
and I listen to the way those things have been going on forever.
I love that.
The waves have been going, the pounding, the sound is the same sound
Yeah.
that had to have been going on since creation.
Beautiful. I love that. Wow. Wow. That's an awesome
That's true.
midrashic explanation. You're saying this is gorgeous. So the beginning is an intro by reminding us of the pounding and of the oceans and the waters, which we know has been going from the beginning because it's the gravitational pull of the moon and the sun or wherever it works, and the rise and the fall. And so this connects us all the way back. And it says, your precepts in that case could be your nature, the laws of nature, God, that you put in. And whatever you put into place is still standing today. That is really, really, really beautiful, Ellen.
I
It's really a
think
beautiful
it's
way to understand it.
time now. It's time now for a poem that was written by Naar Louis,
Yeah.
a young boy who was killed by the Nazis
Mm.
in the war.
Yeah.
And he wrote a poem where I think it's time for the poem now.
Do you want to read it?
I will.
Please.
Where am I?
Do you have it?
Yes.
Go for it.
Okay. I'm sorry for the delay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Which poem are you?
I'm looking for the poem, the first poem.
Which one? What's the title? So I can pull it up.
Do you want to get back to us when you find the poem?
Yes, I
Okay,
will.
good, good. That would be great. Okay, so the last thing she says is something that, who said this? Edith? I can't remember who said it. I apologized. That there's that Psalm 93, because it talks about creation and then about God reigning, that it is actually appropriate to say on Friday and Friday night, but we can also say that God is forever, not only during creation, but also, did you say that, Ellen, maybe? That God gives God's energy all the time so that the world does not disappear. That creation is constantly continuing, or you could say that God gives God's attention to the world and energy to the world. Okay?
Depending on what the world is.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. Okay, I'm going to add a few more thoughts here. This is by Reuven Ibrahimov, who wrote a book about Psalms. And he says that the author was actually Moses, the leader of the Israelites, receiver of the Torah, and the greatest prophet. That Moshe wrote this psalm prophetically about the days of Mashiach, of Messiah, when God's glory will be revealed in full to the entire world. All of humanity will recognize God rules the universe. Its genre is a psalm of enthronement and celebration, glorifying God's kingship, mighty strength, and total dominion. And actually, all the psalms from 90 to 100 are attributed to Moshe, and a lot of them about the days of the Messiah, when everybody recognizes that the Lord God is King. So that I just wanted to, that's where I remember I had read that Moshe had written it and not David. And he says that there's a tradition that, remember the last word, the word that Helen translated as prophets, and I don't remember, you said testimonies, Estelle.
I said that, yeah.
And mine says precepts. So actually the real word is testimony, and that sometimes people recite that verse before they go into court to defeat an opponent, or at least to have the truth come out correctly. Your testimonies are extremely faithful. Holiness is becoming to your house for the length of days. So that is something that people might recite as kind of an amulet, maybe. I don't know if anybody here does that. Okay. Okay. One other idea, which I thought was really, really beautiful. Why recite this on Friday? Why recite about the seas, about the ocean sounds its thunder, the ocean sounds its pounding? These are some of the translations we've heard. Above the thunder of the mighty waters, more majestic than the breakers of the sea. Why? One second. But the first two verses, the Lord is king, the Lord is robed in grandeur, Lord is girded with strength. What do robes have to do with the sea? So that, he says, is the connection of Friday, because Friday is the final day of the week when merchants return home from their voyages, if they can, for Shabbat. They travel from the stormy ocean, where ships with large sails conquer the storms, and the sails are billowing in the wind like robes. This psalm is specifically geared to those sailors who witness the power of God every day and now return home for Shabbat to rest. So how beautiful to imagine that when we read about, let me just see where it says, robed in majesty, imagine God's majesty billowing the sails like a robe. Deborah, did you want to read now?
Oh, I don't have it.
You don't have, okay, save it for next time. Maybe next time.
Right.
That would be great. Okay, so everybody got that? The imagery, I thought that was really beautiful. I never thought of that. The sail, remember, that's the kind of boats they had. They all had sails. I mean, that's how, they didn't have electronics then. Okay.
But that doesn't make sense because you depend upon the weather and the wind, and
So
how do
which
they know
part doesn't make sense?
Then how could they be back in time for Shabbat?
They tried. If they
Oh,
could,
yeah.
they could. Maybe they gave it, look, if it's a long sea voyage, then not. But if they're going out to go fishing, or whatever it is that they used to do, or I don't know what, then they would try as much as possible. I mean, this is not an allegory, but this is, I would say,
True.
a goal, right? The sailors wanted to come home for Shabbat. If they're God-fearing, if they keep halacha, then they want to come home for Shabbat. So maybe they start on Thursday or early Friday morning in order to be able to come home.
But could they do it on the ship?
Do what on the ship?
I mean,
Shabbat? I mean, if they don't have a
Shabbat.
choice, of course. If you don't have a choice, what are you going
Yeah,
to do? Shabbat happens wherever you are, Estelle. You don't do or not do, right? Shabbat just happens. But you try to keep Shabbat and you want to be home with your family. So, and to go to shul, to go to services. So, you're right. Practically, it might be they didn't come home, but it's a way of understanding it. Deborah, did you find it?
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
Title. First of all, I want to tell you a little about the author.
Okay, we only have about 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll be quick. The author is Jerry Robbins, who was a student at Yeshiva College, but had an exemption because he was graduating this year. With that exemption, he went into his home and relinquished his exemption. He felt he could not he wanted to take a direct role in defeating the Nazis. And it ended up that he didn't kill the Nazis, but they killed
him.
This poem, he wrote a poem called Wait for Me World, just before he relinquished the exemption he had. This poem is called Time and Space. My heart rejects both.
You reading it, Deborah?
Yes.
Deborah, I have an idea because I don't want to stop you. Let's finish the class on the psalm and then you'll read it. Is that okay?
Class.
Okay.
I will do this later.
That would be great. I appreciate that because I want to finish the learning about this psalm, but I really appreciate it. Okay. Just a minute. What else of my notes did I want to share with you? Okay.
I have a question
Yeah.
about why Psalms were picked for each day, or what psalms were picked. Because it didn't dawn on me until just now when we were talking about the seas that picking a or saying that God's name appears in a different
That's a modern,
Right.
yeah.
And I'm wondering why, especially given this psalm. I mean, I would have done this psalm for Sunday. I mean,
Do you
when
remember
the
Sunday?
waters, no, but when the waters were created, I would be doing it in terms of creation
Right. So
and
there
the
was an
pounding of the
example.
oceans.
So we spoke about that. We did speak about that. I don't think the oceans were created on the first day, were they? I
Well,
don't think
when
so.
was the water separated? When was the
Right. So when they were
different?
separated,
I think
no,
it
you're
was.
right. And if you remember, we did connect that with a few of the Psalms. So there might be more than one Psalm that connects that because we did connect that for Sunday and maybe for Monday as well. I mean, each day, I don't know if you were here for each one of them, but we did connect it to a certain extent. So you're right. Like somebody could have picked that, although it's really beautiful that this bridges Friday to Shabbat. That's what feels so beautiful about this particular one. And I like what Josh Blechner did, where he said they tried to come home from the seas and then receive Shabbat. So that to me feels like a beautiful bridge. But when you have 150 Psalms, you got to pick one. So I'm not disagreeing. And I always say if there was a subcommittee that was picking the Psalms, maybe if we were in the subcommittee, we would have picked a different Psalm.
They did
So
a good job.
they did a good job. Yeah, who knows? Like, remember, there were ones in the middle that felt angry, and we said, well, what's that about? So it's not always clear why they picked it, but modern commentaries do their best to figure it out. I do want to read before we finish, because this is always our favorite, is the Psalm Songs by Gaya Aronoff Bernstein, one of our HIR community members. She wrote this beautiful, beautiful book, Psalm Songs, where she wrote a poem about each of the Psalms. So I do want to finish with that. God rules behind the scenes, cloaked in grandeur and power and the majesty of nature. Oceans and motion follow God's laws. Galaxies obey. Strings of cosmos heed God's word. Ever loyal, all bear witness to eternal holy truths. I love when she writes. It's so beautiful. It really sums up a lot of what we discussed and says what you said, Ellen, about it's been here forever. Ever loyal, all bear witness. You could say, instead of saying testimony, that just by the fact that the seas, the oceans, and the nature has been here are bearing witness to God from the very beginning. You could really understand that in the last verse. So I appreciate your thought. If you want to say it on Sunday, nobody will stop you. And this concludes our teaching about Friday Psalm. Next week, we plan to learn Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbat. I don't know if that'll take 1 or 2 sessions. I'm not sure yet. It might take longer because it's a very rich psalm. And then we said we're going to delve into some of our favorite prayers until the end of this year. And next year, we're going to maybe talk about contentious or complex personalities. People remember that in the Torah, unless somebody else has a different idea that interests them. I mean, one of my favorite is Pirkei Avot, Ethics of Our Fathers. It brings such rich discussion, but I am teaching that on Thursday in Hebrew, and I know some of the people come to the Hebrew class, so not sure. But yeah, Deborah.
Go on Wednesday to Rabbi Katz and Rabbi Greenberg's class on Pirkei Avot.
Oh, you go on Wednesdays. That's from CSAIR.
Right.
Beautiful. So you don't need another Pirkei Avot. So you go. So I love the idea of teaching about common prayers, or favorite prayers like Adon Olam Asher Malach. We said we would learn
Even
about
I
that.
know that one.
Yep, right. And Shema Yisrael, we could learn about that. We could learn about Aleinu L'Shabeach Ladon Akol. We're going to learn about favorite prayers. People can pick favorite prayers. But for next year, we're going to start a new topic. Everybody with me?
Yep.
We good?
Yeah.
Ellen,
Yep.
lovely to see you from Florida. Deborah,
Yes,
Did you want people who want to stay on? I have a few minutes. Did you want to read the rest of the poem?
right. This poem is called Time and Space. My heart rejects both time and space. Through the ebony of night, I reach out for you from the wide expanse of sea. You come, your eyes flashing, your body curved, clinging tightly to mine. We refute all those who pray of miles and hours. This is the only place. This is the only time. Here and now. This was written while Jerry Robbins was aboard a ship going out for the going out on his way to fight the Battle of Bulge, and he was killed by a Nazi U-boat.
Tell me something. What is your connection to him?
I was engaged to him to be married when peace came.
Oh my.
Thank you for sharing, Deborah.
And I
That's,
was friends with him from the time I was 10 years old in the yeshiva of Flatbush.
Wow.
Thank you for sharing that.
that's
And from across the wide expanse of sea, you come, your eyes flashing, your body warm and curved, clinging tightly to mine. We refute all those who prate of miles and hours. This is the only place. This is the only time. Here and now. And this was written aboard ship before it was torpedoed by a Nazi U-boat.
I'm so glad that remained. Deborah, what's your last name?
Eiferman, it's never been Robbins.
Eiferman?
Right? It's never been Robbins.
Your
I
last
was
name. Yeah.
engaged to him when I was 18, and we never were able to consummate and to complete the marriage to Robbins.
mhm.
Did you marry after that, Deborah?
Yes, I had a 64-year marriage
Baruch
to
Hashem.
Irving Eiferman, but I had 3 amazing children who are children no more.
I'm glad.
And
Yeah. Thank you for sharing all this.
his
You're very special, Deborah, I must say.
he was a gifted writer.
Clearly.
Never had a chance to either edit his words or publish them, but he did write a poem called Wait for Me World before he relinquished his exemption from the Army.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing this. And the C's really connects to what we studied today. So that felt like a beautiful connection. Thank you, Deborah.
The
All right,
wonderful
sending
memory.
love.
Yeah, that's
Beautiful memory.
beautiful. It's
It's
really beautiful.
Thank you for finishing with that. I'm glad. Thank you, Deborah. Anybody else who wants to come on next week at 11, that would be awesome. Have a good day, everybody. Chodesh Tov. Today's the second day, Rosh Chodesh of Rosh Chodesh Adar.
Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov also. Chodesh Tov we say on Rosh Chodesh, which is today. All right, sending love. Bye-bye.